Two barndominiums. Same builder, same year, same square footage, almost to the foot. One appraised for $12,000 more than the other. Not because of the land, not because of the finishes inside. The gap came down to something buyers can't always name, but appraisers absolutely can. It's the style on the outside. And today we're settling this for good. Industrial versus modern. Which one actually protects your money when it's time to sell? This video is a head-to-head comparison, industrial-style barndominiums versus modern farmhouse-style barndominiums, and which one actually holds and increases value when it's time to refinance or sell. We're breaking down how each style performs on the exterior, how each one lives on the inside, how the floor plan choices differ between them, what each one actually costs to build, and the one hidden appraisal risk that catches almost every barndominium owner off guard regardless of which style they picked. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly which style protects your investment, and more importantly, why. Welcome back to Barndominium Plan Studio, the channel where we break down real numbers, real design decisions, and real trade-offs behind barndominium living. We just tell you what things actually cost and let you decide. If you're new here, we cover everything from floor plans to construction costs to the design choices that quietly affect resale value. So if that's useful to you, go ahead and subscribe. That's really the only thing that keeps this channel going, people sticking around. Let's get into why this comparison matters more than most people assume going in. This comparison earns its spot on the channel because most people pick a style based on personal taste and never think about it as a financial decision at all. According to appraisers and real estate professionals who specialize in barndominiums, resale value for these homes depends heavily on how closely they read as a home rather than a shop. And that perception is driven almost entirely by exterior style choices, not square footage or finish quality. In rural markets, barndominiums are increasingly selling close to comparable stick-built homes. But that number moves significantly depending on whether the home in question looks like a lodge or looks like a warehouse with windows. So this isn't a question of which style you personally like better. It's a question of which style performs better when a bank, an appraiser, or a future buyer walks up to the front door. The gap starts the moment someone pulls into the driveway. The industrial style leans into what the building actually is: dark charcoal or black metal siding, minimal trim, exposed structural elements left visible on purpose, flat or low-slope roof lines, and large glass openings with black steel framing. Done well, it reads as intentional and architectural. Done without restraint, it can read as an unfinished commercial building with a driveway. The modern farmhouse style takes the opposite approach. It actively disguises the metal building underneath. Board and batten siding, a stone or brick base course, a covered porch with timber posts, and a traditionally pitched roofline all work together to make the home read as a house first and a steel structure second. Here's the part that actually shows up on paper. Modern farmhouse exteriors consistently perform better with buyers who aren't specifically shopping for a barndominium, because the home doesn't require the buyer to mentally get past anything. Industrial exteriors perform extremely well with a narrower, design-forward buyer pool, but that pool is smaller, which matters enormously in markets outside major metro areas. This is exactly why curb appeal additions, stonework, a timber porch, warmer siding tones consistently show up as some of the highest return upgrades in barndominium resale data. They widen the pool of buyers who see the home as familiar rather than unusual. Neither style is objectively wrong, but if resale value is part of your decision at all, the data leans clearly in one direction, and it's not the direction most design blogs push you toward. Open the front door, and the same split shows up again. Industrial interiors lean into exposed steel trusses left unpainted or finished in matte black, polished or stained concrete floors, black plumbing fixtures, and often minimal window trim to keep the architectural lines clean. It's a striking look, and it photographs exceptionally well for design-focused audiences. Modern farmhouse interiors soften nearly every one of those same elements. Exposed beams in a warm wood tone rather than black steel, wide plank engineered hardwood instead of bare concrete, white or cream walls, and traditional trim details around windows and doors. Appraisers and agents both point to the same pattern here. Warm wood tones and traditional flooring read as move-in ready to a broader range of buyers. Concrete floors and black steel, while beautiful, read as a lifestyle choice, one a buyer either loves immediately or doesn't connect with at all. That's not a knock on industrial interiors. It's simply a narrower path to the same destination, a smaller number of buyers willing to pay top dollar, rather than a wider number willing to pay a solid, dependable price. Floor plans are where the two styles actually overlap more than people expect, because the steel clear span structure underneath is identical either way. Both styles benefit equally from open concept great rooms, since clear span steel framing removes load-bearing interior walls regardless of which exterior or interior finish gets applied on top. Where they diverge is room count and room labeling. Industrial-style barndominiums, especially ones with an attached shop or garage, more frequently blend live workspace into the floor plan. A home office that opens into a workshop, a mudroom that doubles as gear storage. Modern farmhouse floor plans more often mirror traditional home layouts, a dedicated dining room, a defined foyer, bedrooms grouped in a wing separate from shared living space, because the goal is to feel familiar to someone comparing it against a standard suburban listing. This is the part people don't think about until they're already selling, because appraisers pull comparable sales based partly on room count and layout type. A floor plan that reads clearly as 3-bedroom 2-bath with a formal dining area has an easier time finding accurate comparables than a flexible live-work layout that doesn't map neatly onto standard listing categories. Neither floor plan approach is wrong for daily living, but if you're optimizing specifically for resale, a floor plan that maps cleanly onto conventional room categories will consistently appraise more predictably than one that doesn't. Time to see if the style choice actually shows up in the price. So let's put real dollars against both styles. According to current 2026 industry data, barndominiums broadly run $70 to $160 per square foot for standard finishes, with premium builds pushing $200 or more. Style choice alone doesn't move that baseline dramatically, but specific material decisions within each style do. Industrial exteriors often cost slightly less on materials. Metal siding alone runs cheaper per square foot than mixed board and batten and stone, but that savings can get offset by larger steel-framed windows and exposed structural finishing, which requires more precise, more expensive fabrication and installation. Modern farmhouse exteriors typically add $3,000 to $7,000 for a stone or brick base course and additional trim work, but that upgrade is consistently one of the highest return additions in barndominium resale data, often recouping more than its cost at sale specifically because it widens the buyer pool. Interior finishes follow a similar pattern. Polished concrete flooring runs $3 to $8 per square foot, genuinely cheaper than engineered hardwood at $6 to $12 per square foot, but the appraisal and resale data consistently favor the more expensive flooring choice because of how much more broadly it appeals. General contractor fees, land, site work, and utility hookups apply roughly equally to both styles. So the real cost differential lies almost entirely in these specific material decisions, not the overall style category. Boil it down, and it's simple. Industrial can save you a modest amount up front. Modern farmhouse tends to cost a bit more up front, but performs more reliably when it's time to sell. Which one wins depends entirely on your time horizon. Time to see if the style choice actually shows up in the price. So let's put real dollars against both styles. According to current 2026 industry data, barndominiums broadly run $70 to $160 per square foot for standard finishes, with premium builds pushing $200 or more. Style choice alone doesn't move that baseline dramatically, but specific material decisions within each style do. Industrial exteriors often cost slightly less on materials. Metal siding alone runs cheaper per square foot than mixed board and batten and stone, but that savings can get offset by larger steel-framed windows and exposed structural finishing, which requires more precise, more expensive fabrication and installation. Modern farmhouse exteriors typically add $3,000 to $7,000 for a stone or brick base course and additional trim work, but that upgrade is consistently one of the highest return additions in barndominium resale data, often recouping more than its cost at sale specifically because it widens the buyer pool. Interior finishes follow a similar pattern. Polished concrete flooring runs $3 to $8 per square foot, genuinely cheaper than engineered hardwood at $6 to $12 per square foot. But the appraisal and resale data consistently favor the more expensive flooring choice because of how much more broadly it appeals. General contractor fees, land, site work, and utility hookups apply roughly equally to both styles. So the real cost differential lies almost entirely in these specific material decisions. Not the overall style. Here's the split in who's actually picking each one and why. Homeowners who choose industrial consistently talk about authenticity. They want the home to look like what it structurally is. And they're often planning to stay long-term rather than optimizing for resale at all. Homeowners who choose modern farmhouse talk more about flexibility. They want a home that feels broadly livable now and won't limit their options if life circumstances change and a sale becomes necessary. And both groups are genuinely happy with what they picked. That's the surprising part. This isn't a case of one style making people happier than the other day to day. It's specifically about what happens on the other side of a future transaction. And increasingly, homeowners are landing on a hybrid approach. Industrial bones with farmhouse curb appeal, dark steel trusses inside, stone and warm siding outside, capturing some of the authenticity of one style with the broader buyer appeal of the other. Category. Boil it down, and it's simple. Industrial can save you a modest amount up front. Modern farmhouse tends to cost a bit more up front, but performs more reliably when it's time to sell. Which one wins depends entirely on your time horizon. But there's a risk that applies to both styles equally, and almost nobody plans for it in advance. Barndominiums, regardless of exterior style, can face real appraisal challenges simply because there aren't always enough comparable sales nearby for an appraiser to reference confidently. In markets where barndominiums are still relatively rare, an appraiser may need to pull comparables from much farther away or much further back in time than they would for a standard home. This shows up most painfully during refinancing or at the exact moment of sale. An appraisal comes in lower than expected. Not because the home is worth less, but because the appraiser had a thinner data set to work from. This risk is highest in suburban adjacent areas, where barndominiums are still uncommon, and lowest in rural markets like parts of Texas and Tennessee, where they become an established, well-documented category with plenty of comparable sales. This part's less about construction and more about paperwork. Working with a lender and appraiser who specifically have barndominium experience is the single highest leverage decision here, because they know where to source accurate comparables instead of defaulting to a wider, less accurate search radius. Keeping a detailed build file, materials used, square footage documentation, permits, and photos throughout construction gives an appraiser concrete data to work with instead of estimating from a walkthrough alone. And in markets where barndominiums are still uncommon, requesting a second appraisal opinion, or one from an appraiser with specific rural or agricultural property experience, is a reasonable and increasingly common step when a first appraisal comes back lower than expected. This won't tell you which style to pick. It just makes sure whichever one you pick gets a fair number attached to it. Here's the actual answer, not the hedge. If resale is your priority, modern farmhouse wins consistently, because it widens the pool of buyers and appraisers who read the home as familiar. If you're building for the long haul with no near-term plans to sell, industrial can be the right call, and a stronger match for buyers who genuinely love that look when the time eventually comes. The smartest version of this decision for a lot of builders is the hybrid industrial bones on the inside, farmhouse curb appeal on the outside, capturing both. Quick disclaimer before we wrap up. The comparisons and cost figures featured in this video are composite examples built from real 2026 industry data, appraisal trends, and common construction practices, representing general patterns rather than a single specific property or appraisal outcome. Resale value depends heavily on location, market conditions, and individual appraiser judgment. So always consult a local real estate professional and licensed appraiser before making a design decision based on resale value alone. If you've already built or you're currently planning, tell us in the comments, industrial, modern, or the hybrid approach, and why you landed there. And if you're weighing this decision right now, tell us whether resale value or personal style is driving your choice. We've got a community of builders and planners in the comments working through the exact same trade-off you are. If this video helped you see this decision as more than just a style preference, That's exactly the kind of decision this channel is built to walk through. Subscribe if you want more real numbers and real design breakdowns like this one, and we'll see you in the next one.